Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cookie Decorating Live, and welcome to a special edition of 266 episode. We're making Cameo Cookies. Hello, everyone. How is it going, guys? Let me know. How are you doing? Let's see who is here today. Hello, hello. Hello, Charlie. Hello, Byron. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, Kim. Hello, Jen. Hello, June. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Heather. How is everyone? How is your summer going so far? Are you fed up with it? Are you looking for fall? Let me know in the comment section. So today, guys, we're going to make beautiful Cameo cookies. Jewelry inspired. I made a similar set. My first ones were made them in 2010, so a while ago. And ever since then, I wanted to make another set. This is a 3D ring I made. And so I finally got to it. And today we're going to dive in to this beautiful, beautiful cookie decorating tutorial. Hello, Linda. How is your summer going? And I also prepared a live stream newsletter. Those of you who are new to the live stream, with every live stream, I prepare a newsletter. This is a free newsletter that includes, obviously, the link to the live stream. If you wanted to watch a replay, please let me know if you're watching a replay in the comment section down below. And it also includes all the tools used in the live stream. And here you can see here that I included other tutorials using this same cookie cutter shape. And also there's a 30% off of my next live online Zoom class on how to make piped royal icing succulent. So you can grab that discount through the live stream newsletter. Hello, Connie. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Kim. Yeah, I completely understand you want to move to 2026. Heather is ready for the fall. It's steamy here in Chattanooga, and not in a good way. Hello, hello. All right, so let's get started. I had some technical difficulties, so bear with me for a second. I'm going to bring up first bit of the tutorial, and that's how to make silhouette with royal icing and a template. All of these tools, like the templates for the transfers and also cookie cutter template, along with the swirl pattern and an oval shape, those are all listed in my coffee shop. And those of you who are members in my Patreon group, you already received those. I'm gonna put the Cameo template project template in the comment section here. Hello, Susan. Oops. Hello, Susan. And oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Charlie. Thank you, Kim. It was before I have to say I was panicking. Anyway, so sorry. So I'm using 20-second consistency icing here, guys. And I'm piping onto the acetate. So I've got my template in a protector sheet, and I'm piping on an acetate. You have to make these ahead of time. They will take maybe 8 to 12 hours of drying time. We're going to also accentuate some features of this silhouette, the profile, with piping consistency icing. I'm just going to do the eyebrows and earring, and then also do some details on the bun. So we can start doing that as soon as the icing crusts. If you feel confident that you're not going to put too much pressure on the icing as it's just crusted, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, wait for it to dry fully for those 8 to 12 hours, and then use piping consistency icing. You can do soft piping also. That might give you better results without those annoying spikes sometimes that we get at the end of the icing. Or if you're piping a dot, sometimes there's like a little little bit of that sticking out. So if you're using like a soft piping, that will help avoid having those stubborn spots. So here I'm just gonna add these details and we're gonna let it dry again. Since these are just some fine lines, my base was already dry. So I'd say maybe hour, 2 hours tops. But it is really important that you let these dry completely before even attempting to remove them from the acetate. Colleen, yay, yay, yay. I'm excited. 266. That's amazing. Hi, Sally. You made it. Sally is on the road and I don't know how she made it, but she made it. So nice to see you. Sally is at the airport, Hawaii airport. That is. I think there is the famous picture from Hawaii airport long time ago. Somebody, I don't know if it was a photographer. It was like a famous I don't know if it was a famous photographer, but somebody took a fake picture that became really famous before I think social media and cell phones. So once you are done with piping, this is a little flower I'm doing here, like a little daisy. You could also do a transfer here. If you have a little transfer, maybe little piped flowers, you could pop that on there. So let's do this one more time, slightly sped up. And I'm using white icing. Now we're going to place these on icing that's going to be green marbled with a little bit of white. So I didn't really have a trouble with color bleeding, but if you feel that it might be a problem, like color bleeding, I mean like the color will seep through the white if it's too dark. I would suggest doing dry on dry application. We're going to be doing dry on wet in this tutorial. And if you have a question, let me know. Heather says, watch out for the volcano, Sally. Kim was thinking the same thing. All right, so once these are made, now you can see here, I taped it down with some masking tape, masking tape. Oh, I'm brain dead. So you can see I broke one, and it does happen. So make more than you need, and then you can carefully remove them from the backing. Ideally, you can use like a knife or a palette knife like I'm using that's going to support the full length of the transfer, and then just place them on a flat surface. You can store these layered between cling wrap, something soft that's not going to put too much pressure on them so they don't break in storage. Okay, so that's the transfers. That's what's going to make this cookie so beautiful. So now I'm going to remove this from the screen. Oops, did I remove it? No. Yes, this one. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the next step. And next step is flooding the cookie and then creating this beautiful design on the top. We're going to have 2 layers base. Well, basically 3 layers. So this is the base layer. I'm using very light green here. I know it appears as white, but it is green. And it's 15-second consistency. So I'm going to outline and then flood. This is a pretty standard black cookie cutter. You can use other cutters that will allow for the shape to fit in there. Ideally, it's nice when it's centered. You can also use bubble wrap. That's right. You could use bubble wrap as well to store the transfers. Maybe get like if there is like a thin bubble wrap, or even it's not a bubble wrap, but I don't know if it's food grade. That's one thing. That's like a thin white thin sheet. It's a little foamy. I don't know what it's like, a packaging material that I think would work as well. The only thing is I don't know if it's food grade. So now we're going to fill everything. And after this, I'm going to actually let this dry. Now you could make the step we're going to be doing next. You could make that advanced as a transfer as well. That would save you time, and then you could just pop it on the icing. My only worry was that it was going to be too heavy, so it might push some of that icing out, and then I would have some icing overflowing the cookie. So I'm going to let this dry. So you can prepare this while your transfers are drying, because those will take 8 hours to dry, and this will take also about 8 hours to dry. So now, once it's dry, we can use this handy template to trace the oval shape onto the cookies. What I try to do here, I try to center it so it's in the middle. And you can get this also as a part of the template bundle in my coffee shop. I'm going to outline using number 2 piping tip. And I'm using ivory colored royal icing. And this is piping consistency. So we're going to go around creating this lovely border. And then this is optional. You can fill in the middle immediately after you do the border, or you can let it crust for maybe 5-10 minutes. I actually prefer letting it crust for a little bit and then filling it. So we have a question, Kim. What caused them to not come off properly? I did some for the Christmas market and they wouldn't come off. What kind of material did you pipe them on? Can I ask? So here I'm using, this is a darker green, but the same green I use on the base, but just slightly darker. And here I'm adding the lighter green and also a little bit of white. We're going to create this like marbled design. So not with a scribe, make sure that you're using something that is flat with a bit of a surface to it. So I'm using a palette knife, and you just want to kind of go in one direction. You don't want to do like a all over the place marble, just in one direction. And then with the scribe, maybe a little bit around the edges. And if you see any bubbles, now is the time to pop those. And now we're going to pick up the transfer that we made, the profile transfer. We're going to drop it onto the wet icing. Ooh, it's going there. All right. So now just check the edges. If you see there's let's say, a gap around the edge there, so you want to maybe move the icing a little bit in that direction so it sticks correctly. And now we can focus on the decorative pattern that's coming around the oval shape. And that's going to be the swirl pattern that I have here. Let me just switch the camera so you can see. Okay, can we do that? All right, okay. So it's here. So this is also in my bundle. This is just a guide, but I didn't I didn't trace it onto the cookie. But if you're struggling, perhaps you could put it into your projector, or even before you do the oval shape, you could trace it on with a tissue paper or something like that. Although I find that would be somewhat time consuming, I have to say. So to answer Kim's question, Kim, did you, I'm not sure why they wouldn't come off, because I don't know what the material was, what was the material you used. And sometimes wax paper can give you trouble. Although I love using wax paper, sometimes they can stick more to the wax paper. Parchment that is coated with silicone gives really nice results. However, you have to be careful, because once it dries, and because it's on the silicone, basically, it flies off. You have to be very careful, because they are very easily removed. So, or maybe it was something with the icing, but I assume this was just the material that was underneath that caused them to wouldn't come off at all. Like when you would try to peel them off, like were they dry underneath? Let me know. I like the way you, yes, me too. It removes the headache. It elevates your headache, because it's such a, yeah, it's much easier, I find, Heather. Thank you, Colleen. Hello, Melody. It's nice to see you. You missed a little bit. I don't know when you got here, but yeah, a little bit. But now it's going to. You have a monthly tool subscription link, and it's not working. Oh yes, yes. This is. Thank you, June. I have to remove that because it's not. Thank you for reminding me. I did remove it. Thank you. If I add Cara syrup, it will not rise. Yeah, that is true. If you add corn syrup to your icing, it's not gonna dry as hard. So I don't really recommend it for royal icing transfers. Oh, somewhere and somewhere breaking and somewhere sticking. Oh, that might be that maybe the icing was overmixed, or also what colors were you using? It could be that there was the icing was oversaturated. This will happen with, like, if I use red and it's been like oversaturated, it doesn't really dry. I mean, it's dry, but it's powdery dry. I don't know if I'm making sense. It doesn't dry hard, so it's almost like it's falling apart. So maybe that was the case. All right. So now we're gonna come back and I'm gonna show you how to add the swirls. And those are really pretty. I love doing the swirls. I don't do them often. And for this, I just switched my piping tip to PME 1.5. If you need to practice, do that on a piece of like parchment, or if you have one of those plexiglass sheets, those are really great because you can put the template underneath and the plexiglass, it's firm, it doesn't curl up, and you can practice as many times as you like. One thing I want to remind you, perfection is overrated. Okay, so if your swirls are not the same, it's not end of the world. My swirls are not the same either. I'm not a machine, so it's perfectly fine. And if you make a mistake with the swirls, just wait a couple minutes and then you can scrape them off and then you can start over. Reason I was talking about the outer border, the oval shape, that I prefer that it's crusted or even dry, it's because of this. If I make a mistake and that border is wet, the icing, the swirl, it's basically sticking to it, and it's creating a pretty solid adhesion, I guess. So when it's dry, it's sticking, but I'm not going to mess it up if I remove it. I don't know if I'm making sense. And for this, I'm using the same icing I use for the oval border. So that's ivory icing, ivory colored icing, just with a touch of ivory. We're going to paint this with gold. So ivory provides a really nice color for the really nice coverage of the gold, whatever gold you're using. If you're using silver, if you want to make silver icing, if you want to paint with silver, then I would suggest using gray icing. And for that, you just need to add a touch of black food coloring into your white icing. Oh, but it was the same cookie that you used on cookies. It was red, black, and green. I did mention that I used lamination plastic about, okay. Oh, what is it? Is it something that's flexible? I don't even know what's is it like an acetate? Or is it maybe that's the problem. I don't know this material. I'm not familiar. I don't think I've used it. Is it flexible or is it like rigid? Hello, Jeremy. Thank you. Thank you, Colleen. So basically, I'm repeating the same pattern in all four corners. Just give yourself some time. Move slowly. This is my actual speed. I didn't speed this up. If you need to take a break, take a break. And after this dries, we can paint with gold luster dust. So that's the next step. All right, so I'm going to remove this screen and we're going to bring in my hands. There. Oops. If I could get it to work. Oops. Okay, I'm trying to move. Oh, finally. Okay. All right, so here it's one cookie that is fully decorated. This is dry. This one is already painted. You can see the difference, right? This is gold and this is without gold. So as far as the gold, use the gold that you like to use. It's very hard for me to recommend anything because I've been using so many different things. This is Roxy and Rich soft gold. I really like this brand, but perhaps you have something else that you've been using and you like to use it, you like the results, so use whatever you prefer as far as the gold goes. The only thing I would say, make sure that it's FDA approved or that it does contain edible ingredients. Okay. Thank you, Colleen. So now here I've got my palette. And we're just going to add a little bit of Everclear. You don't want to make it too runny or too thick. If you make it too runny, just let it be for a couple minutes and it's going to evaporate fairly quickly. And if it's too thick, you just need to add a little more liquid. You can also use non-alcoholic activator from Sweet Sticks. And I'm using this is a liner brush by Wilton. I love these brushes. They come in, it's a set of 5 brushes. I think I mentioned them before many times. So basically you go over this with your paintbrush. I like to frequently dip my brush in gold luster dust. Try not to oversaturate it because it can drip. And for this project, when you think about it, I just used a colored green. I used a little bit of water and I diluted it to 15-second consistency. That was this dark green. I put it in a bag. Then I added some white to the remaining green to make this lighter green. And then we used white and ivory. So you don't need a whole lot of colors for this project. Okay, and then you continue around to finish the border like here. Let me grab one more cookie I've got here. I want to show you. So this is a different flag that I have, slightly different flag, and I used a different pattern around the edges. This is actually easier. This is easier, so you might take a note of this simple loop design. It's quite nice, I have to say. I really like it. So those are two different designs. And thank you, Linda. Me too, Melody. Me too. I love it. It's fairly stiff, but somewhat flexible, but I've used it before and haven't had issues. I used the laminate to permanently protect paper sheets, but I was soap and water before using. So then I honestly, this is like it might be just anomaly because since you used it on cookies, but it could be that on. I still think that it's probably the color because I have, from my experience, even I think I used icing on cookies and they were fine, but on the cookie it doesn't. You don't need on the cookie it dries, and even when it's a little powdery or maybe not completely hard, I don't think you notice it as much as on transfer because transfer needs to be completely hard for you to remove it from the backing. So maybe, yeah, that would be my only thing. Maybe there was too much color, or maybe icing was a little overmixed. It's hard to say. Try to add additional cream of tartar. Cream of tartar, I like to use another teaspoon of cream of tartar in my recipe for royal icing because not only it helps with, it whitens the icing, but it helps prevent overbeating. What it does, it loosens the protein chain in egg white, and so you can beat more air in it. And it also, I find that it helps me kind of mitigate that problem because I like in the beginning, I suppose I was overbeating my icing. So try not to overbeat it. Okay. I also wanted to go back and have a look at what happened in last 2 weeks since we haven't seen each other. So Sally sent me some amazing cookies she made in cupcakes. I believe these were for 4th of July. 3-color, and these are really summery, inspired by Amber Sweet Am's, the dressed watermelon cookies. Beautiful, beautiful. I also love your multicolored. This is a candy corn, right? It's such a great evergreen cutter. And another cutie. I love this so much. This is a baby, like it's a baby, what is it? Baby onesie, right? Like I have not seen this kind of a baby onesie, but it's beautiful. I love it. And cute little gold bows. And here is another set, summery inspired popsicles and beach balloons and also lemon cakes. And these are from last time. Remember the ladybugs we did 2 weeks ago? Here they are. So Sally, she's so prolific. She made them, I think, next day. So beautiful, beautiful. And here is another one. I really like how you did the flowers on here. A nice design. So thank you for sending these in. I also wanted to remind you that we have the schedule for the live stream. We're going to be back on July 30th. That's coming up 2 weeks. And also here are the cookies that I made using this exact black shape. These were for the baby shower many, many years ago. In this tutorial, it's linked in a PDF. Let me grab the link for the PDF. There is a really neat way of how you can pipe letters on a cookie and keeping it centered, especially if you have to make, let's say, 2 dozen of cookies. 2 dozen, and then you want to just make sure that it's all centered. So there is a neat trick in this tutorial. Okay, and then also these were monogram cookies using the same shape, but you see how you can use an oval or a round in the middle. So it's a similar idea what we did today, except we added profile to a transfer. So those are all listed in this newsletter. And I just put the link in a comment section. So guys, I will be seeing you. Where are you guys? Let's see. I want to just jump in the comment section again. Yes. I love the onesie too. Yes, black silhouette would look also beautiful. I think that would make it pop. So it depends on the style you're looking for. Maybe look online for there are a lot of Cameo designs online. and just go look and see what is it that you like. Black is also beautiful in these. They will be more pronounced on the cookie, definitely. These are royal icing. I have not made them with fondant, but assume you have a silicone mold. I don't see why not. And they are probably even more detailed than what we have done here, because usually they are carved, right? It's like a carved stone or something, so they will have a lot of detail. Here we added some pipe detail, but if you have a silicone mold, it's probably more detailed, and you will get a nice looking fondant silhouette. Thank you. You like the loop design? Me too. Where is it? Now the comment got lost. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, Halloween is coming. Okay. I show you one thing. Okay. This is a sneak peek. I have a Halloween already on my mind. I will show you. I will show you just because we don't get to see each other too often. So let me, I'm going to show you what I've been making. Little ghost, little colorful ghost with holding. I actually made these transfers last year. I don't know if I shared that with you, but I never got to use them. So yes, I'm prepping for Halloween. All right, guys. Oops. Back on the screen. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And I will be back in 2 weeks. Oh, black and purple. Yes. Well, I have purple. I have purple one, although now on the screen, I think it looks like it's gray, but it is purple. So you can make these in so many different colors. I really wanted to do something different, and these are really fun. So I can't wait to share that tutorial with you guys. And also tomorrow, a new tutorial is coming to Patreon. So stay tuned, everyone. Thank you for your patience. You love using fondant in silicone molds, and I do love the silhouette. The Barbie cookies I made, I drew and cut the shape, then I piped them with royal icing. Oh, so yes, yes, okay, I think I remember your Barbie cookie. You mean the Cinderella, right? I think I remember. How long will mini cookies last in a freezer? Mini cookies, I think 3 months. If you package them really well, I would package them in, if you have a heat sealer, that would be the best if you want to store them for longer. But normally I package them in freezer safe containers. I line the container with food wrap, like I double on the food wrap. That does help with the freezer burn. You can also use freezer paper, but I find that the food wrap works really well, unless they're decorated. If they're decorated, I like to store them or freeze them vertically. So so when they're frozen vertically, there is limited pressure on the surface. If you freeze them like this, there is some pressure. So when they're frozen like this, I find I have better results. Yes. Okay. So I remember it was a part of the Cinderella package. I remember. Okay, everyone. Thank you, everyone. It's time to wrap it up. I will see you next time in 2 weeks on July 30th. Thank you, everyone. Bye.